The Blast Season 2 airdrop is here, but it's not when it was supposed to be, and it's not what we thought it would be either. As you can see, Blast announced a couple days ago that they're gonna launch the Season 2 airdrop, but they didn't really phrase it like that because this was not the plan at all. Over the last year, I've posted about Blast quite a bit. Blast, 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 blast. And so when Blast announced that on June 2025, the Season 2 airdrop would be launching, we expected it to be June 2025. And we had all these different things like multipliers and points and gold, and all the stuff you came to know and love from the Blast airdrop videos I've made here. But then a few days ago, they launched the Blast mobile app and just kiboshed the entire Season 2 airdrop, immediately giving people that had gold and points their airdrop allocation right away, which is good on one hand, but on the other hand, the Blast mobile app has a whole sort of different opinions about it, which we'll dive into in this video. So first, if you had been farming the Blast Season 2 airdrop, you can go over and claim your airdrop at blast.io/airdrop. As you can see here, I got around 330,000 Blast total across a couple different wallets, and it's pretty easy to go and claim. Now, there actually were some issues that I saw online where the image on the screen here blocks the button to click continue or claim, and to remove that, if you're having that issue, you actually have to go into expect element and remove that frame that blocks the continue button. And so this is just one small beginning look at how the UI of Blast has not been fantastic. The fact that they had this planned and then didn't launch it with a working UI is problematic, and luckily there was someone on Twitter who was able to help me figure this out, but it's annoying. So if you have that issue, just know that we got you covered. Now, once you actually claim your Blast airdrop, you're gonna see this screen right here, which prompts you to go over to Blast Mobile. This is really what Blast is aiming to do. Get everything into the mobile sector, where their Blast mobile app is gonna be the next big thing in crypto and helps onboard a lot of new users. So it's pretty safe to say that the desktop version we've come to know and love and used quite a bit is pretty much obsolete at this point, and everything moving forward will need to be done over here on the Blast mobile app. If you already have the Blast mobile app installed on your phone, you'll need to update it, and if you have to install it from scratch, you can do that as well. Then you're gonna wanna go and make an account, and all of your accounts are gonna be using passkey, which is gonna be either using fingerprint ID or face ID, which I will say is a lot nicer and much more convenient than using things like a key fob or a hardware wallet or any other security system that we've had in place previously. So once you made your account, you can go and log back in by clicking unlock account. You get your face ID to go forward, and then you're gonna open up your account. Now, you do still have a seed phrase on the Blast mobile wallet, which I guess is a good thing as a backup to your passkey. If for some reason you lose your passkey or access to your passkey, you still have a seed phrase you can put somewhere safe and confirm that when you log in that you'll get that seed phrase. So this is the Blast mobile app. My first thought, which I think a lot of people think, is that what the heck? They had 6 months to develop this app. They launched it when they said they would, actually a little bit late this time. It was supposed to be December 2024. They launched it in January of 2025. But you can see here, it's very simple. In fact, there's really only two buttons that actually matter here: deposit and earn. The other buttons are feedback, which you can give your feedback, which is, you know, exactly what you'd expect it to be, and then send, which is to send money from your wallet that's on the Blast mobile account to another wallet. That's pretty basic stuff. But the two main ones are deposit and earn. So deposit is exactly what it sounds like. This is the ways you can deposit to your Blast mobile wallet. The obvious ones are USDC or USDT on Ethereum. You basically send into this wallet address that you have here. You could also send in things like USDB, which is basically just USD on Blast. You could also send in funds directly on the Blast blockchain. So anything that you have like Blast, USDB, Andy, any other tokens you have on Blast, you can also just send over here to your wallet. You can notice that they are different wallets, right? So this wallet address here for Ethereum is not gonna be the same one you have for the Blast deposit, so keep that in mind. The other way you can deposit, which is new, and this is definitely where the newer part of this comes in, where it's really trying to onboard new users. This part is not geared towards crypto natives like you and I. This is more geared towards new or beginner crypto explorers. You can click deposit USD, and this is gonna bring up MoonPay. So they actually have integrated MoonPay into the way that they've allowed people to put money into the account. So really, it's using MoonPay. And I've actually done stuff with MoonPay before, so if you wanna check out MoonPay, go to the link down here below and use MoonPay directly. But this is it right here. So you can put $100 of USD in, you're gonna get 93 USDC here. You can see that's a really pretty bad rate. You're gonna actually pay $7 almost in fees right there, right? That's almost 7% fees when you're putting $100 in. Now, if you put $1,000 in, the fee is a little bit less, right? It's $40, which is still a lot, but that's still a 4% fee. That's not a small amount by any means, right? The network fee and the MoonPay fee add up to be, unfortunately, $40 worth of $1,000, which is 4%. That's far beyond what we'd be paying in places like Coinbase or Kraken or any decentralized exchange. We're not paying anywhere near 4%. If you're paying over 1%, that's already very high. So I don't love that it's so expensive to use this, and it is MoonPay again, and MoonPay can be expensive depending on what you're depositing. So right here we can see that's USDC. If you wanted to do something else like a different currency, you could do that as well. So the convenience of it is great. However, the actual fees are not. So depositing money here is not really that great. Now, I will say, if we were to go ahead and try to deposit some money here, right? Let's go back and do $10. It looks like the minimum is $20. Okay, so $20 is the minimum deposit. Then we're gonna see that we're gonna lose $6 almost on that $20 deposit. That is absurd, absurdly high. Let's continue. Then you gotta go and make yourself an account, and then you can actually use different things like Apple Pay, you can use Google Pay, Visa. So you can deposit with a card, you can deposit with different forms. I think that's a nice part of it, but the convenience cost there is very, very high, especially for doing a small amount of money, which I'd imagine a lot of new people or beginners would not wanna put a ton of money in this right away until they understand how it works. So I do have some red flags there in terms of the depositing. Now let's go and look at the main draw here. What is the main capture point for Blast Mobile? What is it all about? What are we going to get here? It's no longer about the airdrop. It's no longer about the new apps coming out, because as far as we know right now, there's no apps directly integrated into the Blast Mobile app, right? It's just these really crappy looking UI logos, which I think I don't know if it's intentional or not, but when we click into here, it does look a lot more like Blast. It's a little bit more sharp looking, thankfully, but these 4 buttons up here are just rudimentary as heck. So the earn section here is really where things get interesting. This is what Blast is trying to use to capture a new audience. Extremely high APY. So when you put money into Blast and you put it in earn, you're gonna earn a extremely high APY. You can see right now, my APY, this is the max multiplier, is 80%, which is just obscene. That's really, really high. And I have to immediately question, how is it so high? And we'll get to that a little bit later. Right now, you can see I have $352 of USD in my earn account, earning roughly, again, 80%. But what you earn is actually Blast tokens. You're not earning US dollars. You're earning Blast tokens as a yield of those US dollars. So that's already a big question mark for me. Do people really want to earn in Blast? Because you could just convert the Blast back to USD, and that's totally fine. But I do wonder if that's good or bad for Blast as the currency Blast, right? And overall for the ecosystem, is it good to be earning in Blast? Probably, but then you have to question, how are they getting all this yield? So you can see my Blast is going up slowly. I got 40,000 Blast in there, and I got 82 Blast overnight so far. So how you earn this multiplier, right? You click increase multiplier, and then whatever your USD is, you have to put Blast, the actual Blast token, into your earn account alongside the USD to maximize the multiplier for your APY. The highest multiplier right now, as far as I can tell, is 6x. So it's 6 times what the initial APY was. The initial one was somewhere around 15, 17%. I'm getting 80% because I have this max multiplier on here, because I deposited 40,000 Blast. Now I actually have 60,000 Blast left in this wallet. I could deposit more, but unfortunately, it doesn't actually increase my multiplier. I think the max multiplier here is really just 6. So even though I have 60,000 in my wallet and I am clicking to confirm it, it's taking a little bit here to actually deposit it. There we go. My multiplier did not change at all. It's still 6x. So the max multiplier you can get doesn't necessarily need to have a ton of Blast. I think 100,000 Blast is quite a bit, even though the price of Blast is super small right now. It's half of a cent. The max multiplier still remains 6. So you can get a max of 80% APY right now. Now you can see in the earn account, I actually have 100,000 now. But what I will say is that I don't think I'm going to actually earn any more Blast. or any quicker, because the US dollar is what I'm earning the yield on. It's not the blast that I have in the account. The blast acts as a multiplier, but the US dollar is what we're earning the yield on. So even if you put a ton of blast in there and only had $1,000, you're only going to earn the 6x multiplier on the $1,000. So there's no incentive to put even more blast in there. In fact, the 60,000 I just put in there is completely useless as far as I can tell. I don't really love that. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. You know, if you're going to cap the multiplier for as much blast you could put in there, it doesn't really have that effect to diminish the supply of blast or have utilization for blast. So I don't know if this really captures the tokenomics they were trying to achieve by having people hold blast and use blast to maximize their APY in here. If you figured out all of that, right? You deposit to earn here, you can put your blast, you can put your USD in. It's a little confusing, and just talking all that through, I think out loud, for native people is going to be extremely confusing. Let's be honest. What I just talked about, a common person is going to have no clue what's going on. I also have this pro button up here that I have no idea what it does. It doesn't tell me what it does. I toggle it on. I don't see anything else happening. I have no clue what this pro button does. If you can figure it out, let me know in the comments down below. But overall, I would say on the earn section so far, better looking than the buttons, makes some sense, but it's still very confusing to a non-crypto native person. And I don't think it really captures the blast tokenomics that we wanted to see from this mobile app so far. So those are my first thoughts. My second glaring major thought is 79% or 80% APY as a max APY. I do not think this is sustainable in any way, shape, or form. I've been here for Luna, I've been here for Celsius, and both of those things offered pretty good yield on tokens. Those yields were 20% and somewhere around 10%, depending on what token you were getting yield on in Celsius's case. This is 80%, 80, 4 times as high as Luna. And you saw what happened with Luna. I think this is a questionable situation here. Now, what they say in the frequently asked questions section on the launch here is that there's 11.5% of that yields coming from DAI or MakerDAO. That's where they get their yield from, all the staked USD and all the staked ETH they have under the Blast account. So that's 11.5%. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt there and say MakerDAO's been around for a while. We have some faith in it. Let's just assume 11.5%. If they just took all that and gave it back to the consumer here, fine, 11.5%. Where is the other 69% coming from? Where's the other 70% roughly coming from? That is a ton of extra yield that we just don't really know where it's coming from. They're saying it comes from incentives, liquid incentives, and the Blast treasury, more or less, right? They're just paying it out of the Blast treasury as these reward incentives they have from the treasury. That's what it sounds like. And that's possible that could work, but at some point that may not work anymore, and that may become an issue. Now, I assume that the APY will fluctuate to reflect what can actually be paid out depending on how many people have USD in earn and how much Blast is being held to multiply that earn. I do imagine these numbers are going to fluctuate. They actually have a little bit already. I just worry too much after being through Luna and after being through Celsius how sustainable this really is. Overall, I really loved Blast. You guys saw the videos I made. I really believed in it, and now I have no dollar spendable here apparently because I put it all in the Blast earn for no reason. I am losing faith in Pac-Man and the Blast team. The communication and the launch of this mobile app was horrendous. There was no communication whatsoever leading up to it. There was no indication that the season 2 had been halted and they weren't going to factor in gold or points any further. They're going to move it to liquid incentives. I don't mind that they did that. I just wish that the communication was better. The communication, the entire Blast run out from start to finish has just gotten worse. It hasn't gotten better, it's gotten worse. And I think that's really not great when you have a community that trusted in you and is following you and really put a lot of belief in you. Especially on this channel, we've made a lot of videos talking about this and how to make the most of it. And we did make quite a bit from it. But the value of the token now is a mere fraction of what it was on TGE, which is unfortunate because I'm still holding a significant amount of Blast. I believed strongly in Pac-Man and his vision, and I'm really having a hard time justifying staying with that vision because I do see what they're trying to do here, but I just don't know if I can keep riding this ride. I don't like that I have no reassurance from the team. Now, Pac-Man did tweet about some of the fallout that happened after this came out, and I wanted to give it some time to let the dust settle and see how things went. But I'm really still having a hard time finding what the reasoning is for me to stay part of this journey and part of this community. That's the video. That's my thoughts as of right now. I'm probably going to keep this money that I have in here right in here, but the rest of my Blast tokens, I'm going to be potentially selling over the next couple weeks just because I don't think that exposure makes a lot of sense for me anymore, unfortunately. Now, it just so happens that Coinbase does have Blast listed. So if you do want to get up to $200 of free crypto, you can go over to coinbase.matscrypto.com and actually deposit your Blast there and sell it there if you want to. And that will qualify you to get up to $200 of free crypto with this promo they have going on. Leave a like in the video, subscribe for more content, and go over and watch this video before you head out. Do not miss it.